My Karen mother-in-law tried to steal my kids after my wife died. Then she called CPS on me. I'm Josh. I'm 34 years old, and for 9 years, I was married to Natalie, the best person I've ever known. We met in our early 20s at a mutual friend's barbecue. She was wearing this ridiculous floppy hat, laughing with her whole chest, spilling beer on her shoes, and calling the playlist criminal. I fell in love before I even got her name. Natalie was fierce, soft, wildly intelligent, and endlessly patient. She was a middle school English teacher, God bless her soul, and had this way of making even the most stubborn kids believe they mattered. We got married young, 25, bought a house, painted the nursery ourselves when we were expecting our first daughter, Emma. She's 6 now. Funny, smart, obsessed with dinosaurs, and drawing fire-breathing unicorns. Liam came 3 years later. Total mama's boy. Has her eyes. Her laugh. He's 3 now and asks for her every night. And then she got sick. Cancer. Breast. Stage 4 by the time they found it. I watched the strongest woman I know fight like hell, smiling even when she could barely lift her head. She left behind notes for the kids, voice messages, birthday cards for the next 5 years. She was only 32 when she died. I didn't think I'd survive it, but I had to for them. That's when the real nightmare began. That's what it was like living in the aftermath of Natalie's death. In those first few days, I was a shell. The kind of grief that wraps around your brain like barbed wire. I'd sit in the bathroom with the shower running just to muffle the sound of me sobbing. I would wake up expecting to see her beside me, and then remember. Emma and Liam needed me. They were scared, confused. Emma kept asking, "When's mommy coming home from the hospital?" Liam refused to sleep in his own room unless I was sitting in the hallway with the light on. I was barely functional, but I was trying. And that's when Karen moved in, not literally, but spiritually, like a ghost that didn't know when to leave. At first, she seemed supportive, brought food, took Emma for a walk, did a couple loads of laundry. I thanked her. I really did. I even told her I appreciated the help. But something felt off. On the 4th day after Natalie's funeral, I came home from a grocery run and noticed the living room had been rearranged. I'm not talking about fluffing pillows. I mean rearranged. Couch facing the opposite wall. Photos taken down. My recliner, Natalie's favorite, gone. Where's the chair? I asked. Karen turned from the kitchen, wiping her hands like this was her home. Oh, that old thing. It was falling apart. I took it to the curb. I'll help you pick out something more appropriate. More appropriate. For a father of 2, you need something clean, efficient. And those photos of you and Natalie, maybe put those away for now. The children need to focus on the future. My mouth went dry. Karen, that chair wasn't yours to throw out. She raised an eyebrow. I'm just trying to help. The house was cluttered, unstable. It's our home. It was Natalie's home, she snapped. She's gone now. You need to be practical. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I just picked up the baby monitor and walked away. But that was only the beginning. Over the next few weeks, Karen found new ways to chip away at my world, under the mask of help. She started replacing things. My kitchen towels, replaced with white linen ones that stained immediately. The kids' toothpaste, swapped out for an organic brand that made Emma gag. The snacks I packed for school, unhealthy, she said. She even threw out the Capri Suns and replaced them with kale smoothies. You're raising children, not raccoons, she said with a chuckle. I clenched my jaw and kept breathing. Then she started reprogramming the kids' routines. I would put Liam down for his nap at 1 p.m. like always. She'd sneak in 20 minutes later and wake him up. Too much sleep isn't good for toddlers, she'd say. Emma had a story before bedtime with me. Always had, but suddenly Karen insisted, Grandma reads better. One night, I walked into Emma's room to say goodnight, and Karen was already there, tucking her in. Oh, she said, not looking up. We're doing a new thing where I put her to bed now. She likes it better. I looked at Emma. Her eyes darted between us. I saw it. That little flicker of confusion, of fear, of being made to choose. No, I said quietly. She's used to our time. I'll do it. Karen stood up slowly. Josh, you need to stop resisting help. You're over your head. Everyone sees it. I felt the air shift in the room. And then she muttered something under her breath. Your wife would have wanted them raised properly. I stepped into the hallway and shut the door behind me before I said something I couldn't take back. But it kept going. She took over the kids' closet, replaced their clothes with pastel-colored matching outfits. So they look presentable in public, she said. Emma cried because her dinosaur shirt was missing. Karen canceled Liam's playdate. He's overstimulated. Needs to focus. She brought a priest over to cleanse the house spiritually. She made us all sit through a family dinner where she recited grace so long Liam fell asleep in his mashed potatoes. And she started referring to me, out loud, as a temporary solution. Children need a maternal influence, she said, sipping wine. Especially now. You're doing your best, Josh. But some things require a woman's touch. I'm their father, I snapped. For now, she said again. That night, I found my wedding album in the trash can. I knew, right then, what she was doing. Slowly erasing Natalie. Rewriting the family story, with herself as the hero. I started recording things. Not just for evidence, but because I couldn't trust my own memory anymore. Grief messes with your brain. I needed proof I wasn't imagining it. I caught her whispering to Emma, "You'll always have a room at Grandma's, just in case Daddy gets too sad." I found a note in Liam's backpack written by Karen, listing important emergency numbers, with her name circled and mine crossed out. And one morning, Emma came to me in tears. "Daddy, is Grandma going to take us away?" My heart shattered. "No, baby. You're not going anywhere. Not without me." But she said Mommy told her to. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Karen was using my dead wife's name to manipulate my children. That was the final straw. I sat her down in the kitchen that evening, and I didn't ask. I told her, "You need to leave." "Excuse me. You've crossed the line. You've disrespected me. You've confused my kids. You've lied to them. I've saved them from your dysfunction. You've made yourself at home in a house that's not yours. This was my and Natalie's home. You don't get to walk in and claim it now that she's gone." Karen's face twisted into something primal. "You can't handle this alone." "I'm not alone. I have my kids. And you're not welcome anymore." She stood, hands shaking. "You'll regret this." "No," I said. "You will." After Karen left that night, the house felt eerily quiet. The kind of quiet that makes your stomach twist, because you know it won't last. You know the storm's not over. It's just circling back for a harder hit. I tried to pick up the pieces. I reintroduced the routines Karen had ripped apart. Emma got her bedtime story back. Liam started napping again. I found Emma's favorite dinosaur t-shirt at the bottom of a trash bag and gave it back to her. She hugged it like it was a long-lost friend. The kids started smiling again, laughing. And just when I thought we might be healing, the real hell began. 3 days after I kicked Karen out, I got a knock on the door. Sharp, repetitive, official. I opened it to find 2 women standing there, both wearing state-issued jackets, clipboards in hand, dead serious expressions. "Mr. Jensen?" "Yeah," I said cautiously. "We're with Child Protective Services. We received a report concerning the welfare of your children." The air left my lungs. "A report?" I asked. "Yes. Anonymous. The caller alleged emotional neglect, poor living conditions, and concerns about your mental stability following the loss of your spouse." My blood ran cold. "May we come in?" Of course, I let them in. I had nothing to hide. But the humiliation? The sense of being treated like a criminal in your own home? That sticks with you. They walked through every room, opened every drawer, checked the fridge, the bathroom, the laundry baskets. One of them asked Emma if she ever felt scared at home. Emma looked confused. She said, "Only when Grandma yells at Daddy." They wrote that down. When they were done, one of them sighed and said, "Mr. Jensen, I'm going to be honest with you. There's nothing here that concerns us at this time. But protocol says we'll need to follow up in 30 days. I nodded, numb. "Do you know who called?" They shook their heads. The report was anonymous. But we see this a lot in family custody disputes. I didn't need a name. I already knew. "Karen." I called my lawyer that night. "Document everything," he said. "From now on, assume you're being watched." So I did. I kept a daily journal, screenshotted text messages, printed call logs. I even put a small camera in the living room, hidden inside a fake plant. And then I waited. Sure enough, the next move came fast. A thick envelope arrived at my door 2 weeks later. It was a petition for emergency custody. Karen was suing me for full custody of Emma and Liam. She accused me of being emotionally unstable, of creating an unsafe environment, of alienating the children from their maternal family. She even claimed I yelled at the kids, locked myself in my room all day, and had become a recluse. All of it was fiction, but dangerous fiction. The court date was set for 2 weeks later. 2 weeks where I barely slept, barely ate. Every time I looked at my kids, I saw the nightmare of them being taken away. My lawyer worked day and night. We gathered everything: photos, videos, witness statements. I got written letters from the kids' school teachers, pediatrician, even the barista at the cafe we went to every Saturday morning. Every single one of them said the same thing. The kids were happy, safe, loved. The day of court arrived. Karen walked in wearing a tailored navy blue dress and pearls. She had this smug, practiced expression like she was about to receive an award for public service. I sat there in my cheap suit, hands shaking, heart pounding. But beside me was my lawyer, cool as ice. Karen's attorney opened with a dramatic speech. "Your Honor, my client has watched, in agony, as her grandchildren were subjected to an unstable, emotionally unfit father, one who is spiraling in grief and putting their well-being at risk." She even brought up my old therapy appointments, as if getting help made me unfit. Then it was our turn. My lawyer stood and calmly laid out every piece of evidence. A glowing CPS report, no issues found. Testimonies from teachers, he's a phenomenal father, always involved. Pediatrician statements, healthy, happy, safe. Home photos, clean, organized, filled with toys and schoolwork. Camera footage, Karen yelling at me, manipulating the kids, saying, "You'll see. I'll get them one way or another." When that played in court, the entire room fell silent. Karen's face turned white. Then came the final blow, Emma's statement. We hadn't coached her. We were careful about that. But the court-appointed child psychologist had interviewed her. And Emma, in her small 6-year-old voice, said, "Grandma says Daddy's broken. But daddy makes me pancakes and sings songs and lets me talk about mommy. Grandma just gets mad and says mommy wouldn't want us to be sad. You could feel the heartbreak ripple through the room. The judge leaned forward, steepled his fingers, and stared at Karen for a long time. Then he said, "What I see here is not a case of concern for the children's safety. I see a grieving family, yes, but also a grandmother who has overstepped at every level. These children are not in danger. The only threat to their stability is this custody petition." And then he looked at me. "Mr. Jensen, this court sees no evidence of unfitness. Quite the opposite. You're a father doing your best under impossible circumstances. The petition is denied." Karen tried to speak. The judge shut her down. "Furthermore, given the emotional distress and repeated boundary violations, I am placing a no-contact protective order. You are not to contact these children or their father without court approval." Boom. Case closed. I didn't cry in the courtroom, but I did when I got home. I hugged Emma and Liam tighter than I ever had. I kissed their foreheads and promised them they would never have to leave again. That I would always protect them. Karen hasn't contacted us since. Sometimes I wonder what she tells people. That I stole the kids? That I'm the villain? It doesn't matter. Because I have 2 healthy, happy children. I survived grief. I survived Karen. And I built a life out of the wreckage she tried to cause. A life with dinosaur drawings on the fridge, bedtime stories, pancake Saturdays, and all the love in the world. Update. It's been 3 years since the court date. 3 years since Karen tried to rip my kids from me and nearly succeeded. 3 years since I stood in a courtroom, heart pounding, hands shaking, with everything on the line, and walked away not as a victim, but as a father who won. You'd think that would be the end. It wasn't. At first, things were calm, quiet. The protective order kept Karen away. She disappeared from our lives like a ghost that had finally been exorcised. The kids stopped asking about her. Their nightmares faded. We healed. I went back to work full-time. Emma started 2nd grade. Liam started preschool. We had new traditions now: Sunday pancakes, movie nights with popcorn, morning affirmations before school. We weren't just surviving anymore. We were living again. And then, like she always does, Karen tried to worm her way back in. It started with a letter. No return address. Just a pink envelope, glittery cursive handwriting. Inside was a card. Cheap, floral, overly sentimental. And a message. "I know you probably still hate me, but I've changed. Therapy has helped me see the pain I caused. I miss my grandchildren every single day. I just want a chance to make it right. Love always, Grandma Karen." I stared at it for a long time. The audacity. She never apologized. Not once. She didn't mention the CPS call, the false custody claims, or the trauma she caused Emma and Liam. Just a vague, "I've changed," like this was some reality TV plotline where everyone hugs after commercial break. I didn't respond. But then the gifts started showing up. Boxes left on the porch, books, toys, even a small bracelet that looked eerily like something Natalie used to wear. Emma found one and asked, "Who's this from?" I lied. Just a delivery mistake. Wrong address. But I knew. And Karen knew. She was testing the waters. Looking for cracks. And then, she escalated. It was a Thursday afternoon. I was running late picking up Emma from school because of traffic. When I arrived, the front desk secretary looked confused. She already left. "What?" I asked. "With who?" A woman said she was her grandmother. "She's on the approved list, right?" I felt like my heart stopped. "No," I said sharply. "She's under a court order." "Where are they now?" Panic. Full panic. I called the police. The school was already scrambling, pulling up camera footage. I drove around like a madman. Called every number I had. Checked every park Natalie used to take them to. And then I found them. In the parking lot of a diner 3 blocks away. Karen was sitting in her car with Emma in the back seat, casually feeding her French fries like this was some reunion special. I didn't scream. I didn't curse. I opened the car door and looked Karen dead in the eyes. "You violated a court order," I said. "You're done." She didn't flinch. "I just wanted to see her," she said softly. "You can't keep her from me forever." Emma looked up at me, confused. Scared. "Daddy," she whispered. I got her out of the car, buckled her into my vehicle, and called the cops on the spot. Karen was arrested right there in the parking lot. Emma started crying. Not because she missed her, but because it was all too much. That night, after everything calmed down, Emma came into my room and asked the question I had been dreading for years. "Why does Grandma hate you?" I didn't sugarcoat it. "She doesn't hate me," I said gently. "She thinks she knows better. But the way she shows love hurts people. And that's not okay. Is she going to jail? I don't know. But she's not coming back. Promise." I looked her in the eyes and said, "Promise." Karen's bail hearing was the following week. She pleaded for leniency, claimed it was a misunderstanding, said she didn't realize the protective order was still active. *T. We had proof she signed it. Her lawyer tried to spin it, saying she just wanted one afternoon, that a grandmother's love shouldn't be criminalized. The judge disagreed. She was charged with contempt of court and received a year-long sentence of house arrest and another 3-year no-contact enhancement. And this time, the judge added, "Any further attempt to contact Mr. Jensen or his children will result in criminal prosecution." Period. That was the last time I ever saw Karen in person. Emma's 10 now. Liam just turned 7. They don't remember much of the chaos, but I do. Every second of it. Natalie's memory lives in this house. In Emma's laugh. In Liam's curiosity. In the drawings on the fridge. In the books on our shelves. We still visit her grave every birthday. Emma brings her handmade cards. Liam leaves painted rocks. We talk about her openly. With love. With honesty. And we don't talk about Karen. Because family isn't blood. It's love. It's safety. It's trust. And I'll spend every breath I have protecting that. For them. Always.